I want you to say, "Hi, I'm Alice, and you're listening to Two Guys Talking Rush."
I don't remember.
Hi, my name's Alice.
Okay, now.
And I'm listening to Two Guys Talking Rush. Ready?
Hi,
Go.
I'm Alice, and I'm listening to Two Guys Talking Rush.
Okay, we'll try one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm Alice, and I'm listening to Two Guys Talking Rush. Can I listen?
Hold on. I want you to say, "Hi, I'm Alice, and you're listening to Two Guys Talking Rush." Hold on. Hi, I'm Alice, and you're listening to Two Guys Talking Rush. Ready?
Hi, I'm Alice.
Hold on. I'm going to tell you when. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm Alice, and you're listening to Two Guys Talking Rush.
Now do it one more time and speak right into it. Ready? Put your mouth right there.
Hi, you're listening to Two Guys...
Hold on. Hi, I'm Alice.
Hold on, I know.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Alice, and you're listening to Two Guys Talking Rush.
Two guys talking rush. Two guys talking rush. Two guys talking rush. Two guys talking rush. Two guys.
And now, get ready for the Two Guys Talking Rush podcast with your hosts, John Kane and Dan Buxton.
Hey folks, my name's John Kane, and this is the delightful Dan Buxton, and welcome to episode 28. Another incredible episode, another milestone of the Two Guys Talking Rush podcast. Dan, how are you, my friend?
I am excellent. I'm very hyped for this show, as I am for all of our shows. And as I was saying earlier, we just keep cranking out the hits. We are like Creedence Clearwater Revival, just number one single after number one single. Every show, a masterpiece. Every show is Fortunate Son. It's great.
We're like the K-Tel of podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. Stars on podcast. Exactly.
I gotta make a K-Tel t-shirt. I'd be like, people would point me out like, "Whoa, look at that guy. He's
old. Yeah.
He's old and hip." He's super old.
K-Tel like ruled the world for a moment
K-Tel.
there. Yeah. And now it's like you would never know they even existed.
Boy, and I know so many people that owe Columbia House a lot of pennies.
Oh, don't get me started on Columbia House abuse. I was a prime offender back in the day, and I treated them horribly.
Hopefully they're not listening and they went under. I have no idea what happened to.
I don't know how they
survived.
I don't know how they stayed in business in the first place.
Yeah,
and
right.
I certainly did my best to pay a penny, get all these tapes, stiff them. That was the strategy. You're laughing, so I guess you know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about. No. I always paid them in full. Cash on delivery. I spent thousands of pennies.
Yes. You paid them in a timely fashion, and even put some, breath mints in the package, so they would have a nice day.
Honest John, that's what they call me.
Yes,
anyway,
yes.
Well, hey folks, this isn't Two Guys Talking Jim Neighbors. It's Two Guys Talking the incredibly iconic Rush. So listen in and discover the best damn Rush podcast in the entire Solar Federation. Two Guys Talking Rush. Wow, episode 28. I never thought I'd make it this far, but or you, Dan, I'm sure you never thought you'd make it this far with a podcast. But here we are.
I didn't know if we'd make it like one episode, to be honest with you. So this vastly exceeds anything I expected.
Well, me too. And you know what? The people keep downloading the damn thing and listening in. And hey, I can't keep those folks from joining us every week for awesome conversation and content about our favorite band. Geez, there are worse things in the world. This is we're not forcing anybody to do it. They're doing it on their own because they love
out of their own free will.
Oh,
sorry, dad joke. Sorry.
Oh, that is a dad joke.
Forgive us.
Well, folks, remember, this show is hosted by fans for fans. Our listeners know we are inclusive. We invite everybody to join in the conversation. Each week, we try to mix it up with guests and content, good content, and we want fans to join us on this magnificent journey. Before I forget, I wanted to thank our previous guests. It was a wonderful episode, a very heartfelt episode, a very kind of a deep episode. We had rock and roll photographer and longtime Rush friend of Rush, Rush photographer, specifically really a Neil Peart photographer, writer, musician, and again, a very close friend of Mr. Neil Peart, Greg Murray Renwick. What a special, very special episode that was, an intimate show and a behind the scenes look at the life and times of the mighty Neil Peart, whom we love so much. And thank you, Greg, if you're listening in. We really appreciate your sort of, I don't know, letting us in, I should say. Yeah, it was great. Well, I wanted to mention a couple things. One is back in September, well, actually in September of 2020, Rush Fest, the annual Scottish Rush Festival, launched a charity Rush tribute album, and they've got Rush album cover designer Hugh Syme on board to create some artwork. It was called Tribute Songs for Neil Volume 1, which was released on the 12th of September. It was that was the late Rush drummer Neil Peart's birthday, and all profits from that album went to Cancer Support Scotland in the UK and Glioblastoma Foundation, the Neil Peart Research Award USA. The album features 12 covers of Rush songs, including Canadian singer songwriter Jacob Moon's version of Subdivisions. The videos all over the place on YouTube, and Brazilian prog rock duo Fleesh, who covered The Garden, to name a few. Just wanted to say again, thank you to our previous guest, Steve Brown, who organized the event and the album, or has organized the event and organized the album. Just again, if you can, go to rushfestscotland.co.uk to purchase that and support a very good cause. I just wanted to remind folks of that. Dan, have you been seeing the Bernie Sanders memes?
It's hard to miss them. But I have to admit, even though I was starting to get a little sick of them, I've seen a few that I genuinely busted a gut laughing at, because it's funny. Him sitting there like, with his mittens on. That's just funny.
It is
just
funny.
Begging to be put into various contexts.
It's a phenomenon.
My son did one for art class. The assignment was, I don't know, put Bernie on something. So he just had him sitting on the wing of a stealth fighter.
Love it. That's good.
It's like,
I created a few. I created one with Bernie sitting on the totem of the rock formation of the Test for Echo album.
Yes.
You really have to look for it, and then the reveal, the curtain reveal on all the exit stage left with Bernie behind the curtain.
I'm extremely grateful that you did not do a naked Bernie Sanders standing on the brain for the cover of Hemispheres.
Too cliche, man. Too cliche.
Whatever the reason was, thank you for not doing it. I'm just grateful that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
No
definitely.
one wants to see that. I'm sorry.
Well, I also selflessly put Bernie on the Woodstock stage just to promote my book. Hopefully people like that. Well, anyway, Two Guys Talking Rush support and our fans of the talented crews who make up the live event and touring industry. So again, as a reminder, each week we remind folks to please support the Sweet Relief Musicians Fund at sweetrelief.org. A small donation will help thousands of music industry people who've been affected by COVID-19. We've had countless guests on the show that have worked for Rush Production. This will support them. The Sweet Relief Musicians Fund provides financial assistance to all types of career musicians and music industry workers who are struggling to make ends meet while facing illness, disability, or age-related problems. In other words, healing musicians in need. We've all received so much out of music. It's time to give a little back. Go to sweetrelief.org and make a small donation if you can. Again, you can hear our podcast on TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Simplecast, and others. The show is recorded in video as well, so please check out our YouTube channel and click subscribe. Quick shout out to rushradio.org and to Rush as a Band gmail.com for awesome content and keeping the voice and memories of Rush alive. Another quick shout out to the mighty Why Not, who helped us with our intro music for the show. And Rush fans, we want to hear from you. If you have comments, suggestions, ideas, or questions about the show, negative or positive, please submit them. We'd like to hear from you. Email us at TWO guys talking rush at gmail.com. We're always looking for super fans. So if you consider yourself a Rush super fan, you can join us for our ongoing Rush super fan spotlight. What makes a super fan? What makes you a super fan? Tell us, and you could be on our episode. Also, you can visit us at www.twoguystalkingrush.com. TWO Guys Talking Rush. That's our website. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/2 guys, TWO 2 guys talking rush, and Twitter. Twitter.com/2 guys talk rush. Twitter.com/2 guys talk rush. You can also find us on Instagram. We're everywhere, folks.
Yep.
Speaking of things of this nature, we receive no revenue from doing this podcast. Go to 2guystalkingrush.com, buy a mug, a t-shirt, a button, a sticker, support the damn podcast. We're going broke here. We're also on Patreon, www.patreon.com/2guystalkingrush. 50 cents a month will go a long way. It'll help Dan with his dental bills.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have this boil that I need removed, so that
needs lancing very badly.
Exactly. See, you guys want me comfortable while I do this podcast. You don't want a pissed off, show host. So I need to be comfortable and feeling good. So that will help my medical bills. I'm just joking. No, I mean, listen, everything costs money. Kick in a few bucks and you're getting worthy content. And we might be on this podcast for 10 more years because of you guys.
Who knows? Yeah.
We might run out of content. Hopefully not. Anyway, fan mail. We get a lot of unlikely. Yeah. We get a lot of fan mail, and I love reading it. Here's one from a guy named Sean. And Sean, if you're listening, thank you very much. Hi, guys. Sean says, "Hi, guys. I just discovered your podcast 4 days ago. I've binged every episode. Great here." Wow. That makes me, I get tingles when I hear that.
Yeah.
Yep. Great hearing the guests you have had. Key essential components in the history of this legendary band. I live just outside of Toronto and grew up around the rise of Rush and have lived it firsthand. I like their music, but never considered myself a true fan until I saw them live for the first time on the Clockwork Angels tour. Of course, I saw the R40 tour in Toronto. They filmed those 2 shows for the DVD. I was glad that I saw that last tour. I knew I would never have the opportunity to see them ever again. I am a massive Zeppelin fan, same here, and love reading and hearing discussions about all aspects about them. I feel that way about Rush. I will continue to listen to your show because the insights are amazing and I can learn so much, especially about the 70s era. I came to this party when Moving Pictures was released. Living near Toronto, the album was everywhere. It was my first record by them. I can't tell you how many times I listened to it in my basement lying on the floor next to the speaker. Great memories. I had a show idea, if it hasn't already been covered yet. Why is Rush's music so polarizing? I knew they explored different sounds, etc., but it's part of who they are. It's not like they have had a revolving door of members. The same people wrote the music for every record, the debut not included. I hate when fans of a band have infighting because it lessens the camaraderie that should exist among fans of the band, your band. Thank you for your show, Sean. Hey, Sean, thank you, man. That really made me feel emotional, and I feel that my heart is fuller because of that message.
Do you agree that they're polarizing?
Not as much as other bands. The only thing that I feel that people get divisive or polarized about with Rush is the comparison of eras of Rush. The 80s era, which a lot of people defend, and a lot of people put down greatly.
Yeah.
We hear it half and half. It's a split. Oh, after such and such album, I forgot about Rush. And then
that stuff sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See you later. And then really, I've heard people put down the 80s stuff pretty harshly. I don't know. What about you?
I don't know that I agree that I don't know if I would use the word divisive, because divisive really makes, that's a big word, and that means like either or. And I mean, at least if you judge by like, the fan boards that we go on and, that sort of thing, it's like, it's more people like to maybe get into a little violent agreement about the band. Like, oh, I like this, but maybe not this or that. But I never see people like who are just like coming to blows over it. It's not like that. I mean, I've seen bands put out like a single album that was just way out of step with everything. Everyone hated it, and then they came back and did the old style. But I think Rush get a lot of latitude from their fans.
Metallica.
I was doing everything in my power not to mention Metallica because I feel like I mentioned them on like every other show, and this is just not a show about them.
Well, they're just a good example of that,
Saint Anger.
Yeah,
yeah.
I listened to and I'll plug other things, but I listened to Metal Shop on TuneIn Radio. It's absolutely awesome. They play deep cuts. They cover all classic metal. I absolutely love it, and I listen to it on my walks. And there was a Metallica song that came on, and it was a later song. I have no idea what album it was from. It was about a dying pharaoh. I have no clue. Anyway, the song, it just felt like they were trying so, almost like someone's holding on to the slippery slope of a muddy bank, trying to hold on to what they used to do.
We used to be cool.
Yeah. Wait, we still have it in us. And I'm like, you guys are like, 60-year-old is singing about dead pharaohs. I'm like, maybe you should have did this like right after, Injustice for All or something. And I didn't like the Black Album stuff. I know a lot of people love it. I was a true diehard thrash metal fan when I was into Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to Metallica, very successful fan. I've seen them countless times, that they always put on a killer show, and they're a very good live band. They're very, very, very good. They still are. But the material just lacks in some areas,
It just hasn't been there in a very long time, and I'm just not sure. It's like, what are they doing exactly?
Yeah.
The last couple of albums that they put out were like a little bit more old school in sound. Yay, I guess. But I don't know. To me personally, they just put me through too much torture over the years. And, a new album would be coming out and be like, maybe this is the one. Maybe this will be, they're back to it again. No, never.
So the example is we're using Metallica as an example of the word polarizing.
That Metallica are absolutely a polarizing band, for sure.
Because of those reasons. Are Rush at that caliber of polarization with their material?
I don't think they are. I mean, definitely people have their preferences, but I just don't see people being like, everything after, Moving Pictures sucks. It all sucks. Even if they don't like it, you will still get something out of them, like, but the drumming is really good, or, there's always something. So
the lyrics, the drumming, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Well, there it is. Okay, so Rush news this week in Rush history. This is the week of January 5th, 2021. In 1977, Rush played the Veterans Memorial Auditorium in Columbus, Ohio on the All the World's a Stage tour. In 1977, they played the Louisville Gardens in Louisville, Kentucky on the All the World's a Stage tour. In 77, they played the Memorial Coliseum in Evansville, Indiana on the All the World's a Stage tour. In 78, they play the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota on the Farewell to Kings tour. In 78, they play the Dane County Memorial Coliseum in Madison, Wisconsin on the Farewell to Kings tour. In 1978, they play the Splash Fieldhouse at the University of Wisconsin in Stevens Point, Wisconsin on the Farewell to Kings tour. In 1979, they play the Von Braun Civic Center in Huntsville, Alabama on the Hemispheres tour. In 79, they play the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee on the Hemispheres tour. In 1979, Rush first visited Kennedy Space Center and were given a VIP tour. We could start to see some futuristic lyrical inspirations here,
well, that was because they'd done Countdown, I think, right?
But not yet. 1979 was still.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they hadn't done Signals wasn't out yet. But
right.
Yeah.
I just remember the picture of the three of them in like the hard hats at NASA. I don't know if you saw that or not, but
oh yeah, totally. However, I'm not sure when Neil wrote that song. He might have been writing that. He might have had that song written all along. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to find out. 1980, Rush play the Broome County Arena in Binghamton, New York on the Permanent Waves tour. 1980, they play the Bootwell Auditorium in Birmingham, Alabama on the Permanent Waves tour. In 1986, Power Windows was certified platinum by the RIAA. In 1985, the USA 12-inch promo of Mystic Rhythms was released. I love that song. In 1988, Rush played the Lakefront Arena in New Orleans, Louisiana on the Hold Your Fire tour. Turn the Page later released on A Show of Hands. In 1988, they play the Summit in Houston, Texas on the Hold Your Fire tour. In 1990, Show Don't Tell hit #1 at rock radio, and Presto reached #14. 1992, they play the Arco Arena in Sacramento, California on the Roll the Bones tour. In 1992, they play the Coliseum in Oakland, California on the Roll the Bones tour. In 94, they play the Reunion Arena in Dallas, Texas on the Counterparts tour. And 1994, they play the Convention Center Arena in San Antonio, Texas on the Counterparts tour. In 1995, Moving Pictures was certified 4 times platinum by the RIAA. 4 times. Holy wow. In 97, The Spirit of Radio was heard during tonight's episode of Britain's television series Brass Eye. In 2007, a highway sign proclaims Rhode Island 2112 miles on today's episode of Family Guy.
Huh.
Family Guy always pays homage to Rush in some way. I think that's pretty cool. 2008, Tiles, Fly Paper was released, produced by Terry Brown. Alex Lifeson performs on the song Sacred and Mundane. Also then, the documentary film The King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters was released. One of the subjects performs Neil Peart's The Rhythm Method drum solo. In 2013, the cover album Rockabye Baby, Lullaby Renditions of Rush was released. In 2014, the novel Mall, Lockdown was released, including a nod to Rush in the acknowledgments. 2015, Fly By Night was reissued on 200-gram heavyweight vinyl, high-res digital audio, as well as Blu-ray, pure audio, and 5.1 surround sound. We'll get to that sort of era of Rush where they start to be re-releasing their work in better quality audio. In 2015, Rush was referenced on tonight's episode of Archer when Krieger exclaimed, "Great Bacchus Plateau, it worked." In 2015, Train Car 2112 was on today's episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You watch that show, Dan?
I got like 2 episodes into it and I was like, okay, I get it. That was it.
That's the end of it. In 2018, Kevin and Vanessa take flight on 2112 to Orlando on today's episode of Kevin Can Wait. Geddy Lee on his relationship with Neil Peart in a new Rolling Stone interview earlier this month. Rolling Stones magazine, Brian Hyatt interviewed Neil Peart's widow, Carrie Nuttall, along with his bandmates and Rush manager Ray Daniels for a very revealing feature article discussing Peart's 3-year battle with cancer in his final years. As part of the feature, Geddy Lee was interviewed to talk about his special relationship with Peart, and Rolling Stone posted the interview online. When asked about the high bar Neil set for himself and the struggles he endured on the final tour, Geddy had this to say. He set the bar really high for himself, and as his body started to let him down, he worried that he would betray that. He was really big on that. He used to say all the time that he never wanted to let down the kid in him. He would visualize him as a kid watching his own drum performance and never wanted to let that kid version down. But it was really a difficult gig. And as time went on and his body started to, as I said, let him down, it became much more difficult for him to get through it. Yet somehow he did. Any talk of a compromised version of one of the songs, it's just not in the cards. If he couldn't do it the way he'd done it in the past, he didn't want to do it. And that was pretty much it. But he struggled through the R40 tour. He had a lot of weird issues, physical issues, a tendency to get infections. He was so fucking stoic. He would never let you know. You would see him limping or something and you'd go, man, what's going on? Oh, fuck, I need to tell you. But you had to guess if he had a cold or because he didn't grumble about that kind of stuff. He was the exact opposite of me. When I have something wrong, everyone in the fucking organization knows that I have something wrong. Laughing, Geddy Lee says, I really tried to teach him how to whine, but he just couldn't learn. New Alex Lyson interview coming to Make Weird Music YouTube channel this Saturday. Make Weird Music announced over the weekend that they'd be hosting a new live interview with Alex Lyson on their YouTube channel this coming Saturday, January 30th at 6 p.m. The interview will be hosted by Andre Colmondole, and topics of discussion will include the 25th anniversary of Lyson's 1996 solo album Victor and the 40th anniversary of Rush's Moving Pictures album. You could tune in to watch the interview live online at YouTube channel. Make Weird Music. The city of St. Catharines commissions original artwork to honor Neil Peart at Lakeside Park. The late Neil Peart grew up in St. Catharines, Ontario, community of Port Dalhousie, the lakefront home of Lakeside Park, which has inspired the lyrics of the 1975 Rush song of the same name. Last year, the St. Catharines City Council, with the full support of the community, voted to name the newly rebuilt pavilion at Lakeside Park the Neil Peart Pavilion at Lakeside Park in honor of the hometown icon who passed away last January. The council also established the Neil Peart Commemorative Task Force with the objective to commission a public work of art commemorating Peart's life and legacy. Yesterday, the city officially began welcoming artists to submit requests for pre-qualification via the city's website and will be accepting submissions through March 29th from the press release, as it says. The Neil Peart Memorial is an important project in our community as it celebrates the life of an amazing musician, lyricist, and author who called St. Catharines his hometown during his formative years, explains Mayor Walter Sensick. I am looking forward to seeing the vision artists have for the memorial, which will complement the Neil Peart Pavilion at Lakeside Park, as it will be a beacon for Rush fans to visit our community for years to come to celebrate and reflect on Neil Peart's amazing contribution to his craft. This initiative has had an overwhelming support from the community, with more than 25,000 people signing an online petition to honor Peart with a memorial in Port Dalhousie. Said manager of business planning and strategic services, Eric Lamoth. It is therefore something we at the city are very proud to support. As a committee, we're excited to finally be reaching out to artists, said Neil Peart Memorial Task Force Chair David DeRocco, who is on our show with Chris O'Connor. There's a great anticipation to see what kind of creative, original ideas artists submit for this project. Neil set the bar incomparably high when it came to his own art. So we expect to receive some very inspired suggestions for what no doubt will become a mecca for his fans around the world. The artwork will be funded via a public fundraising campaign, which is set to launch in February at www.engagesct.ca/Neil-Peart. That's engagesct.ca/Neil-Peart.com. More information will be released in the coming weeks via stcatharines.ca.com. So we have, as I mentioned in the past, have had David DeRocco and Chris O'Connor on explaining their mission to raise money for this very event. And, they, again, wanted, as they were on our show, to put up a memorial in the late drummer's hometown. They raised some money, and Task Force Chair Dave DeRocco and Chris O'Connor were on, I think, back in Thanksgiving. So there's, a lot has happened since then. So in just a moment, we're going to have Chris O'Connor on, and he's going to explain and give us an update on that project. Welcome, Chris O'Connor. Chris O'Connor, how are you, man?
Very well. Yourself, guys?
What's happening?
Just looking forward to the weekend here.
Good. How's the weather?
Well, it's I think -7 degrees Celsius, which means our community ice rink is frozen. So we're looking forward to that this weekend.
Cool.
Good. Yeah. Wonderful, man.
Yeah, well, a little chilly out, but
yeah, same here in New Hampshire. Yeah. How is it in Brooklyn, Dan?
I'm trying to find like a family-friendly way to say this. It's just very cold. It's extremely cold. Yeah. There are things you could say about like witches and brass objects, and that's basically where I would be going with it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, thank you for refraining, and
we have a very sensitive listener base. I wouldn't want to, hurt their feelings or anything.
Yeah.
Well, we wouldn't want to offend the pagan community with
no, absolutely not. Yeah. Or the Wiccan community.
The Wiccan community. Yeah, exactly.
They would never stop.
You'd be feeling some weird spells on you this weekend for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or anybody that had their testicles removed at any point in their life, which is a horrible thing. But There I said it.
There you go. No, they'll curse me to be overweight and with gray hair. So there's nothing they can do to me. The time hasn't already done. So.
Oh, you mean like a Rush fan?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, hey, Chris O'Connor, we made a promise to you, and that promise was that you can use our show to talk about anything you need to talk about or update people, the Rush community, about what's going on in your world. So this is an open forum for you. Welcome back. You were on our Thanksgiving episode, you and David Duraco, talking about your mission to raise funds to put up a proper memorial for Mr. Neil Peart. And we've had many episodes since, and we've often heard of your efforts in the news here and there. And as of late, there's some new news. So why don't you take it away, man? Tell us what's going on and why you wanted to come back on.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. It's always a pleasure talking with you guys, and always a pleasure talking about Rush and, of course, our project. The big news is we've got our RFP process pretty much ready to go, and we're here to ask the world to come and apply to be an artist and submit proposals for the project. We have established some frameworks with our task force over the last several months, and we've set a loose budget, but we've got lots of work ahead. But the main thing is we're ready to start seeing what people want to do and start helping craft the actual image or feeling that we're going to have down in Lakeside Park. So that is the big thing. And I'm very excited about it because I don't know what to expect. It's from what I've gathered, being involved with the Rush community the last year has been, you never know what you're going to get. So and who you're going to touch. We've been able to contact, or have been in contact with so many great people to support our projects and support the mission of commemorating Neil in Lakeside Park in a very special way. So this is the cornerstone marker for putting some boots on the ground, some ideas, pen to paper, and starting that conversation.
This isn't a contest, right? I mean,
no,
nobody wins anything. The only thing you really get is recognition for the vision, the artistry and vision of what you're proposing, if it's chosen, right? That's the reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what the process in detail is essentially there will be a main feature, whatever form it happens to take, and for getting there, we don't want to exclude anything. So we've kept it loose enough that we can adjust as we go, because just like at the Lee Lifeson Park in Toronto, there's a lot of elements. It's not just one thing. So that's what we want to almost incorporate with this is, we want to keep it broad enough so that all good ideas can be reflected. If there's not just one amazing one, we might be able to pick and choose. But essentially from the distillation process is we're going to be selecting 6 artists to narrow the scope. So we're hoping to get multimedia artists, people working with all sorts of different mediums, and bringing them together and to see what they can come up with as one, or also individuals as well. So the runway is from now. The application opened last week, and we're running to the end of March. So we've got, it's not too long. I'm a creative guy myself, and it's usually happens late at night, maybe after a couple of wobbly pops. But for the most part, when the creativity juices are going, it happens. But it doesn't seem like a long time, and that's kind of the distillation process we want. But we're putting the call out now, and I wanted to get on here to really get the message out. And I think I've sent you a link to an article that describes the process where we're at, and also gives you the exact links of how to apply. And you can apply right through the city of St. Catharines.
Let me ask you, are you just exclusively looking for Canadian artists, or is this a worldwide call? Can someone from the U.S. join in the effort to?
We certainly want to ensure that we're taking the aggregate, and it's actually one of the points that we're clarifying with our procurement staff right now, because I don't see why I don't want to exclude anybody, because I know the Rush community is global. That it's very clear that that's who these people are and how we can celebrate it. So
but you might also get inundated if you have a global call. I mean, you'll get,
Yeah. The other thing too is we had a chat of we do have a lot of talent, both locally and a lot of talent that's peripheral to Rush as the band. So we want to make sure that it's an equal process. But to be full transparent, we have asked for clarification on that exact point because it has come up. So when I have that, I can share that with you. But we're just waiting for more comments on that going forward. But I would hope that we would have a pretty even playing field for everybody.
So are there limitations? Is this meant to be an outside installation? So there needs to be that idea behind it with regard to the execution of a memorial, right?
Certainly, it has to
live outside.
Yeah, it has to stand the test of time. It has to stand the elements up here in Port Dalhousie in Canada. It gets cold. A couple of years ago, it was minus 30 degrees Celsius. So I don't even know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's a big number, and or a small number, I guess. But it gets real cold. There's water, there's sand. We also have very warm summers. It gets up to like 30 degrees. So that's like, high 80s, 90 degree Fahrenheit. It's going to have to really be a tough piece or many pieces that reflect, the man, the art, but also keep up with Canadian weather.
Yeah.
Are there size constraints? I know people can look into this and whoever's interested, but just off the top of your head, what are the constraints? What are the restrictions that you know of?
So we're again, like we've worked pretty hard to keep it broad, but there is going to be a particular space, like almost like a square rectangle basin, I would say, that is a main area. And there are some appendices attached to the application for which you can see the areas, and the exact dimensions on that are definable, but we've left it so that if we need to come back and we need an extra foot, we do have the flexibility for that. Pardon me. The main thing is we want to keep it focused to one area because Lakeside Park, is quite a large area, and we identified a few areas of interest that we felt would be really good. And then when we actually started to dive into it and saying, well, if this draws a crowd of 10 people or 100 people, what are the constraints? Because we also have a canal and a lake to deal with in the immediate vicinity of the area around the now Neil Peart Pavilion. So we've chosen two spots, narrowed it down rather, so that we can crowd control without having anyone fall in the canal, and of course being able to find it. We didn't want to hide it in a back corner or anything. We also were taking into consideration that parks get dark at night. Yes. And we do anticipate that there will be some funny business at some point, whether it's kids or someone just don't know what they're dealing with, and they might want to do something not very nice to anything that's built. And we want to keep that in a light and bright area so that it's deterred any sort of vandalism that may occur or eventually will occur with it, and minimize that risk. So that's all on the last 2 pages, I believe, through the bid tender through the city website.
Is this something you imagine to be interactive? You mentioned multimedia, but again, multimedia in the elements.
Multimedium.
Medium. Oh, okay, good. All right, now that's good for clarification.
Yeah.
But do you envision this something to be interactive? Sometimes you'll go to a memorial where people can actually touch the memorial, engage with the memorial in a sort of unifying way. Sometimes people don't do that. The memorial's something you stand back and just look at. Yeah. What are you guys looking for? I mean, you must have. It's not definable yet. You're looking for a vision and looking for an idea, but what do you imagine it to be?
Let's put it in one word. Yeah, to put it in one word, an experience. So if that means sitting around, sitting in, touching, having a feedback, absolutely. We definitely don't want this commemoration project to be like the Mona Lisa, where it's just hung on a wall somewhere and you go, oh, that's nice, and carry on. We want you to feel I personally, this is me speaking, I want you to feel the lyrics of Lakeside Park when you're there. And then beyond that, I also want you to experience the man. So certainly we, in the case of anything that's physical, perhaps if it's a drum oriented figure or something like that, you might be able to sit in and around that to actually experience what it's like to sit behind a drum set. Myself, I'm not a drummer, but I know if I were to sit behind one of Neil's kits, I'd be overwhelmed, and I'd go, oh my God, like this is amazing. Like, how does someone even comprehend to do that? So from my perspective, I would love to have a complete immersion, as interactive as possible, set, because interactivity is not just about touch and feel, it's about the emotion that's being evoked from you. So you might be connecting with a lyric, you might be connecting with a piece of literature that he's written, or part of another song perhaps, and really connecting with it in the park, and sitting and enjoying the space. Like, you don't have to just stand back and look in awe. You can be sitting near the willow trees in Lakeside Park, listening to the breeze and the kids chattering and whatnot, and having your own thoughts, but you're still having that immersive experience that is evoked by what we're hopefully going to build down there. So yeah, interactivity is going to be a really big part of this, I hope.
Yeah. And Dan, any questions?
Yeah, well, it was more just to say that I think like having it outdoors will do a lot of the work for you. Just because a lot of the lyrics, with the breeze and all that sort of thing, like that's already kind of baked into it. To me, the real question, like you mentioned before, is whether this should be something interactive or not that people can touch. The first thing you would think of, obviously, is like, oh, have some percussion thing here that maybe like little kids can come up and bang out a few. But then you're talking about like, what if it gets damaged? What if So yeah, there's a lot to think about.
Yeah, like we don't want to discount any ideas, because there might be a form or shape that it takes place that it is possible. The other thing we want to do is, like, speaking of young folk, we certainly want to inspire, but we also don't want it to be a toy.
Right.
So we have thought of, like, there are percussion parks around North America where it's encouraged to come and bang on things, make some noise, but perhaps this is not that particular type of installation. There may be a part of it that could be, but sure. I don't know if that would be the main focus. So I really find if there is an element of that, we do it in a way that there's a minimum risk for damage and right. Maximum output of experience. So like I would love to inspire somebody to pick up the drums, but doing that by banging on a steel drum kit down there might not be the best thing for it.
Yeah,
but, it'd certainly be fun for a while. But
what mainly gives me the thought is there are some museums here in New York, where, like the Natural History Museum, where they have little things set up that children can go to. They're specifically set up for they're yay high. Kids touch them, they make noises or whatever, and that's a separate thing from the stuff that's roped off and that they clearly don't want anyone going near. So maybe it's like you have one thing that is nobody touches it, nobody even looks at it, that kind of thing, and something else that can get beaten up on by the public a little bit, but that's just
we do have a children's area in Lakeside right. Park, very close to the carousel. So perhaps if we have the budget, there might be something for young folk down there that might be able to, still, experience the Lakeside Park or have a Lakeside Park experience and be able to bang away on something and create some sort of sound or something. But for this, we also want to, keep it rather serious and not deflate anything, but also keep it fun. We right. want this to really engage with the fan base, because those are the people that are going to be celebrating Neil in Lakeside Park. And, when the world is back together, we certainly want to be able to invite everybody back to come and experience it, because it's not just for locals.
Right.
over the summer, we had people in Canada alone just driving their motorcycle from Quebec and all over Ontario just to come to Port Dalhousie to see what it's about, because they had nothing else to do.
You will get people from all over the world. I predict that now with no fear of contradiction. You will get people from Australia, Japan, the furthest points you can imagine. They will want to be part of this the minute it opens. I'm positive.
Yeah. If I go ahead, sorry, John.
Well, I was going to ask you, is there any requirements for the person submitting? Do they have to be an architect? Do they have to be a sculptor? I mean, someone could have a wonderful idea and just have a good idea, right? So is that a requirement for this? Are you looking at resumes and that sort of thing?
Yes. So it's, you don't have to have like a master's of fine art degree or something, or a PhD in, anything, but we will be taking into consideration, it's a request for pre-qualification right now. So that means, oh, you still there? Sorry.
Yep.
It basically, it's a vetting process. So, as a task force, we have to eventually hire an artist and pay them. And the select 6 artists will be given a small sum to compensate them for their idea. And because, of course, the poor artist always exists, but there certainly will be a threshold. I don't think there's too many specifics, but if you're submitting something to us, please include a portfolio of your previous work. I myself have a million ideas, but am I able to then produce it is the other thing. So if you're an artist that has never worked with large installations, perhaps this is not the best field for you. But if you are an artist that has experience with larger installations or similar type aspirations, and particularly perhaps have engineers and architects that you have worked with, because a lot of artists don't. But if you have done that, then certainly that's going to make our job as a task force easier, so that we can really focus on the concept and ensure that, okay, you've got everything you need right now, all the resources. All you need to do is deliver, and we need to be confident that that person's going to be able to do that.
When's the deadline for, when is the proposed unveiling of this? Is it a 3-year long project, 4 years?
Yeah, so the ultimate date has yet to be determined, and we are in no rush. So we are going to take our time, as long as it takes, to do this right, because we have one chance, and we want to do it big, we want to do it beautiful, and we want to take into consideration as much information as possible, so that we do well by Neil and his memory. So the first important deadline, though, that I'll mention is March 29th. And that's basically the deadline for getting your name in the hat, submitting any information that makes you stand out from the rest. Submit your portfolio, submit your work, submit your ideas. Tell us who you are. Why do you want to work on this project? What does Rush mean to you? I'm sure we're going to have artists that might not be a big Rush fan or anything like that, but can produce some great art. But we also might have some great Rush fans that either have done art with the band in the past that want to be involved, and we want to take that into consideration.
But ideally, you're looking for a Rush fan with experience with these kinds of installations. That's like the 360-degree view of ideally what you would want.
Yeah, it's one point of that can exist without the other. You don't have to be a Rush fan and an artist. You can just be an artist, but we want you to learn about Neil. We want you to, because that's going to reflect in exactly what the result is, right? So we having a knowledge and a history base of the band and Neil is certainly going to help the process. And like I said, there may be 1 or 2 ideas that get through, because we're expecting to spend at least $500,000 and probably closer to the $1 million. And I've heard a larger number thrown out there, but it's going to be a sizable budget for this, which actually leads me into the next part of this is just quickly on our t-shirts, we've raised 25,000 that we've given to the city, and we thank everybody that's done that. But that's just a drop in the pan. I mean, these are big numbers we're working with, and we're also starting to open up our formal fundraising campaign, where tax receipts and everything will be available through the city of St. Catharines. We're working on international as well. So for our friends down south, we're working on it. But if you're a corporation or a big studio or something, and you feel like you want to pitch in, now is the time, because the sooner that we can get this budget together, the bigger the project can be, the more robust it can be, and also the more details we can give our artists, because we've got these numbers in mind, but if we fall short, we're going to have to adjust. And if we have a little excess, we want to make sure that it's being allocated properly. So the fundraising is now open, and I can certainly provide more details like that, but everything can be found on the City of St. Catharines website. We're live. And reach out to me as well on the Port Dalhousie side. I'd be happy to guide you guys in if there was a generous donor out there somewhere that just said, "Hey, whatever it takes, let's bring it home."
Yeah, we would all love to know such a donor. That would be great.
Yeah. Are you going to have any major auctions or fundraising events to drive some of this?
Yeah, so of course, like, we have Hat in Hand immediately, but we will be likely establishing a way to acknowledge certain size donations. So if you are, for $20, you might be part of our community supporter, and you maybe get a keychain or something. If you're spending $10,000, perhaps we have a particular brass plaque somewhere for you to acknowledge that. And beyond that, we the sky's really the limit. And when we get into those bigger dollars, of course, we can curate a really unique experience, I think, during the project in its infancy, during its construction and implementation, but also the legacy of the project as well. Like, whoever does donate with this, however much money, you will be forever part of this project. And our t-shirts are an example of that. And there's a lot more to come. So I'm sure I'll be back on to tell you more about the details of that when our fundraising committee meets later in February. And we nail down some kind of, it's almost like a golf tournament, like for $1,000 you get this, and probably up and up and up, just so that you have an idea of, well, where's my money going, and how what do I get, right? Like, tax receipts are great, but it might not mean everything to somebody.
Yeah, totally. Well, Dan, any lasting questions for Chris?
No, I mean, it's really just more of an observation that I think you probably will meet with a lot of success with this, because I think a lot of Rush fans want to be part of this, and they want to give what they can, especially now, to make this happen. We keep talking about how COVID happened, right after Neil passed, and that sort of interfered with people's ability to grieve properly the way we normally do. So I think that you would get a lot of fans who have been kind of like sitting on this grief for a very long time, and they want to do something with it. They want to do something constructive with it. So, I mean, my feeling is that you'll probably get a lot of response. So that's not a question.
We've gotten so many emails. Yeah, we've gotten so many emails. And I'm using a t-shirt because it's a great segue from your point, Dan, of people crying when they open it and realize what it means and what the gift means. So, and to me, like, when I read those emails, like my skin's tingling right now. That means a lot. And for something as simple as a t-shirt to connect somebody to this project, that's profound. So we want to continue to do that, and in other ways as well. So we've got lots of things cooking, but I wanted to share with you guys right now, since you were so gracious having us on early. I wanted to continue the conversation with you and let you know that the artists are, our RFQ is open. We're ready to check out who you are, and as well, we're looking for funding. And if you know somebody that might be interested, please reach out. We are more than happy to have that discussion and build something for you to be part of this project forever.
All right, Chris, remind folks of where to go and what to do and all the important stuff.
If you Google Neil Peart, City of St. Catharines, that's the best way to do it and the easiest way to do it. You can also reach out to me personally on Port Dalhousie Supply Company or ptdalhousie.com, at Port Dalhousie on Instagram, and I'd be happy to direct you in, and we'll go from there. But yeah, Google City of St. Catharines, easy peasy. You'll find all the resources there.
Cool. Well, Chris O'Connor, thank you so much for all your efforts and keeping the memory of Neil Peart alive. And you're welcome on the show anytime. Just let us know what you need and what you need to do, and we'll honor that, man.
Great. Well, I appreciate it, guys, and we'll be back sooner than you think.
All right. Take care, man. Good luck with everything.
Have a good weekend, guys. Take care.
You too, man. Take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.
Well, Dan, another incredible episode of Two Guys Talking Rush. Again, as I was mentioning, we want to use the show as a vehicle for people who are working within the Rush world that want to do good, and in this case, supporting the memory of Neil Peart. And that's what I love most about the show is helping people in that way.
It's nice to see the returning champions too, coming back to play.
Totally.
People want to connect badly. And this is good that there will be opportunities for them to do that and to do something really creative with it. I think that's great.
Dan, another incredible episode. Well, my name's John Kane, and this is the
delightful Dan Buckspan.
And you're listening to Two Guys Talking Rush. What can I say, folks? Rush.
Rules.
Two guys are talking, rush 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 two guys.